Coming to RAU'S, RAU'S is doing very well, ma'am. Please continue doing it. And as I said, Baswa sir helped me in economics wala, that cyclic diagram. There is this one more faculty called as Vaibhav sir. He used to give some value additions, like he used to draw some diagrams, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
Sir. He used to take GS4 ethics. And there is also, if I'm not wrong, in GS1, Mangal sir. So the first QIP that I attended was in 2020. So in the evening, I used to watch DNS, and I started watching DNS, where they used to cover everything in 30 minutes. Mentors should also do the same thing, and I have seen you pushed me during some parts where I used to fail. So the strategy worked very well for me in economics.
So, hi everyone. I am glad to introduce you to Mr. Aswin Maniti, who cleared this exam, that is UPSC 2020 with All India rank 148. And one important fact about Aswin is that he is already an officer trainee in revenue service, that is income tax. And what connects Aswin with us is that he was a very promising and consistent student of our quality improvement program, that is QIP. So Aswin, congratulations on behalf of entire RAU'S IAS team. Welcome.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
So Aswin, I know you since last
3 years, maybe.
3 years, yes.
Yeah.
I know you since last 3 years, and I can say that getting into a finals list is nothing new for you, because you have already mastered this art. So, and this year also your rank improved from 248 to 235 to 148. So let me put a ritualistic and obvious question to you, that how you're feeling right now.
I'm feeling happy, ma'am. I'm feeling relieved not to write this exam again. And I'm more than happy of getting this rank and improvement.
You finally, you got what you were aspiring since very long.
True, yes, ma'am.
So I would like to know about your UPSC journey. Like, what inspired you? How was your overall experience with this exam, with this journey?
My UPSC journey started in 2019 Jan. Until I graduated in 2018. Then I did a research project with ISRO for 6 months.
Okay.
Then I started this journey in 2019 Jan. And I wrote my first prelims in 2019 June 2nd on my birthday. I could not clear the prelims. And that was so heartbreaking. That year had so many failures. Like 2019 July end, we got this result. I failed in prelims. Then after that, India lost semi-finals in World Cup. Then I went to see the launch of Chandrayaan 2. Even that did not get launched. It was delayed by 4 months. I was like, everything is going bad. So I went back to my room and I packed everything and went back home. So before going to home, my roommate in Chennai, I used to stay in Chennai for 6 months. He used to follow RAU'S DNS. So he cleared prelims that year and he was going to give mains. So he suggested to do this DNS. So there I picked up RAU'S for the first time and I started watching DNS, where they used to cover everything in 30 minutes. That's how I got introduced to RAU'S. Then I went back home in 2020. Due to COVID, prelims got delayed until October. So I got some ample amount of time. In meanwhile, I wrote some other exams like our state Group 1 exam and RBI Grade B, which I lost both RBI Grade B and UPSC prelims by 0.67 marks. That was one more shocking thing that happened in that year. So in 2020 prelims, my only aim is I want to clear this prelims cutoff, not only by GS, but also by Forest Service cutoff. So that was my target that year. And I achieved the target. I cleared it with Forest cutoff.
Nice.
But my mains preparation was not up to the mark. I know there are some lacunae. Only prelims I used to focus a lot. Then I got introduced to a quality improvement program. I got a mail from RAU'S after attending. There is this prelims test series, Anubhav.
Yes.
I used to write the prelims test series. So they sent a mail to the candidates who cleared the prelims. You can attend this quality improvement program. We are starting for the first time. Then I enrolled it in 2020. And there are so many insights that I got. One insight is from Baswa sir. He used to take GS3 economics and he started drawing those circular diagrams where how
Schematic
investments will
diagrams and
increase.
all. Yes.
So that thing I picked up, I used it in the 3 attempts, and every mark had changed, but GS3 marks is more or less constant, 92, 92, 98. And
That
most of it because
strategy
of that.
worked very well with.
Yeah. Basa's strategy worked very well for me in economics. Then in 2020, I cleared mains also. I went to interview. I missed the final list by some 12 marks or something, around 12 marks. Then I thought of giving up. I was like, oh, done. I'll go back. It is too tough to get into this examination. And even that 2020 result, it got delayed due to COVID. Our interviews got delayed and everything got pushed up. And only 10 days are there for the prelims examination for 21. And the last minute, I took a decision that I'll write this prelims. If I get cleared this prelims, then anyways, joining to any college is in January only. And the mains is also in January. I'll check it. If there's a possibility, then I'll do this thing. Again, I did the same cycle, cleared prelims, attended QIP, made some notes out of it. Used to write many test series. RAU'S used to keep this test series every weekend, 4 tests. Apart from that, I used to write some previous year questions and answers. Then in 2020, I was confident with my exam, mains that I'll clear, because I was very confident in my optional also. So I thought I'll get some good marks in mains. And as it turned out, I got very good mark in mains. In that year, I got around 820 marks, which is a very good score. But in interview, I could not do well. So I got very less in interview. It's 143.
Okay.
And the overall score went down, and I ended up in Indian Revenue Service. Even that year, I thought I'll get into IPS, because every 235, generally, if you see, the trend is that you'll get into IPS. It's not a good cadre, but you'll get it. I also thought the same. But in our year, due to some, I don't know what happened, it closed at 231 rank. So I missed it just by 1 rank. There is no one in between me. Like, okay, I thought I'll get into IPS. I attended FC and I am doing the entire training. Then finally, after 2 iterations, I did not get it. So I took an UOL for 20. In 22, I took an UOL from IRS and I wrote this exam again. And finally, I got good score in interview this time. And all these things culminated in getting 148. And most probably I'll get into IPS this time.
Yeah, everything conspired like to make you to write this attempt, so that you can get the IPS. And so you will be writing next year or not?
No, ma'am. I am done with this examination. I have given a lot of my time to this examination. It is not just a physical burden, but also a lot of mental strain in this examination. You have to think. And as one of the topper once said, UPSC is about unpredictability.
Yeah.
Service examination.
Everything is attached with that unpredictable.
True. And even so I was like, it's unpredictability enough. I want to take care of my mental health, and anyways, I got into good service. So I'll continue in this service.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
And students like like very consistent, promising. They like for any service, wherever they will go, they will enrich that zone. They will enrich that service. That's how it's. So now let me ask you, like, as you have improved your score, prelims as well as mains as well as interview. So let me ask your strategy. Aswin, your camera is not working.
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
So let me ask your strategy with respect to prelims and mains. And so now prelims is prelims is kind of unpredictable. The kind of question they are asking, the kind of theme they are picking. So how you tackled this part? What was your strategy?
Regarding prelims examination, from 2019, I guess, the entire pattern got changed. Until 2017-18, it has a different pattern, but in 2019, and every year it is not even consistent. Every year they are trying to bring in new variations. For example, last 2 years, they bought this statement, 2 statements, 3 statement correct, which is a bouncer. I remember in 23 exam, I thought I'll skip all these statement wala questions and I'll do other questions. Then I turn around the paper, every question is statement wala question only. There is only 3 or 4 questions which are normal kind of things. Then I was like, yeah, it is time to play with this also. So one thing in prelims is that you have to confident on the day. You are like, if I don't get it, nobody else in the hall gets it. That is one thing that you have to take.
That's a nice.
Yeah,
yes.
True. That is one thing that you have to take with yourself to the hall. That confidence that you have to carry. That confidence doesn't come on day one only. That confidence comes when you do a lot of practice.
So there comes mock practice, mock test and all.
Yeah.
Yes.
first you have to pick up the previous year questions. If you analyze clearly, there are some patterns. They'll not ask anything as anything under the sun. There's a pattern in which there's a method in madness of UPSC. You have to find that method first. Say, for example, I used to take this example to a lot of my friends also. So UPSC doesn't ask the question in which direction sun rises. It is a normal thing. Every day it rises in the east only. Say, for example, due to some geographical change or something happened, and one day sun rises from the west. So that is one question that tricks UPSC or triggers UPSC to ask a question. So remember the date, what happened. So and similarly, in every case, they'll not ask the normal trend, but there will be some abnormal trend that might happen that they'll be more interested in. And that is the thing that you also have to look at.
That's a
So
good
that is the first thing. Yes, yes, yes. And second thing, as you said, you have to write a lot of mocks. And one thing is not just writing the mocks. What I used to do is I used to write the mocks, bubble my OMR sheets, and I used to say in home only. So I asked my parents to correct this or check it the answers. So they used to check. And my mother used to write down these questions are wrong. Say some 7-8 questions or some 20 questions I did very wrong and 20 questions I left. So she used to write those 20 numbers at one place. Then we used to have this session for 5 to 10 minutes. Why I did that wrong? Okay. Is that because I don't have the clarity on the question itself? Or is it because my 50-50 wala thing, I kept 2 options, but that is wrong? Like that, I used to categorize into 4 zones and I used to improve upon these 4. And one more thing that I used to do is I used to revise the mock test only. Once I write this mock test, I used to go through it once or twice after 1 or 2 months so that you'll improve upon or understand your concepts. So these are some things for prelims. And apart from GS, there is this big hurdle called CSAT.
And it is becoming trickier day by day. Like students, they are able to qualify GS cutoff, but they fail to qualify CSAT cutoff. Like it's very difficult for students to even finish their paper. Yeah. Attempt question. So how you tackle that? So CSAT, I used to think that I am from engineering background. I did so many questions for JEE. I can easily solve it all these things. But for the last engineering engineers, they are also facing some. Yeah. I am going to say that only. So in the last 3 years, I used to do only maths and come back. I'll not touch English also because English is a tricky. You can't exactly point out where it is. Is it right or wrong? So, but this time also I went with the same strategy. I'll write only maths. I did maths only for 1 hour 15 minutes. In the last 45 minutes, if I see I did only 20 maths questions, there are 60 questions left. Like now we have to change the strategy. And I picked up comprehension and I started doing the comprehension part. So finally I cleared cutoff of CSAT. But it is not with a huge margin. Every time I used to get 150, 160. This time is at around 90 or 100. Okay. Paper was very difficult. Yeah, paper was very difficult. So for English comprehension, there is this book called as Wren and Martin, which is a 10th standard grammar book. So if you can read that English book once, it is a very good insight into what the comprehension is all asking about. And second thing for CSAT I used to do is to solve previous year questions. Solve matlab not only see the answers, see the process or get some shortcuts, because in CSAT you have to find some shortcuts. Yes. So these 2 things I used to do. But okay, if there is any other difficulties, maybe there are some YouTube channels, but I'm not exactly aware of that part of maths. So Ashwin, like your entire family prepared for this exam. Yeah. Like your parents, like everyone was there for you. True, man. So for pre, like it's very important to find out where you are missing it, because on the foundational level or like understanding level, or you need to scan your paper. You need to understand like you are making this particular question wrong. Why? Because you missed to get the right concept, or you are not well with the revision. So this one will get to know only when they are practicing a lot of mock. True. So how you handled current affairs, like amount of time weightage you have given to static and current affairs, like how you compile your current affairs for prelims as well as for your mains. So for current affairs, I used to read newspaper in the morning. Every day I used to get Hindu and I used to just read it for 1 hour. And the topics, first of all, you should understand your syllabus. No need to read everything in newspaper. In the first few months, if you're a beginner, in the first 2 or 3 months, you try to understand syllabus and what are the points that syllabus is focusing upon. So once you're well versed with the syllabus, then you can sort out the headlines. Not every headline is important for you. And if you are very well versed, then you can also categorize into GS parts also. Like this goes into GS1, this goes into GS2. Even if not exactly the paper wise, but you can know that this headline is useful.
So I used to have a glimpse in the first 5 minutes, and I used to highlight these are the headlines that I used to read upon, and I used to read. And one thing that I did not leave even at the end until now is reading editorials. Hindi editorials are very good. Even in editorials, you have to pick up the writer who is writing. There will be some eminent writers who will be there. Sometimes it will be governors and presidents that will be writing,
Yes.
or it will be some retired civil servants. They'll be giving some new insights, or there will be some research scholars. One regarding IR that I remember, the name is Happy Jacob. He used to write a lot in IR in Hindi. So there will be some writers you will be impressed and you'll read their editorials. So that I used to do for morning. In the beginning, it used to take 1 hour, 1.5 hour. Later, as the time progressed, it came to 1 hour. So this is my morning schedule. Then some people make notes out of it, but I did not make notes out of current affairs because it is very difficult to revise. So in the evening, I used to watch DNS. I used to keep it at 2x speed.
Okay.
And I used to just watch it. And the points that I used to pick in DNS is see the article. And one thing that used to done by all the educators is they used to give previous year questions from the DNS.
Yes.
This is the article that had come. This is the question that might come from this, and there will be one practice question that you can solve it. And so that I used to see, so that it is a comprehensive coverage. What are the UPSC also expecting from this? So that I used to do. Then apart from that, in the starting stage, they used to give mains answer also, and we used to post it in portal where they used to evaluate. Yeah.
Thursday. Yes.
Yeah. That I used to do for starting one answer, just like a practice.
Okay.
This is the current affairs per day, and month end I used to read some compilations, some institute compilations. I used to read it on Sundays. Sunday I used to keep half day for 30 pages around, and there will be 4 Sundays in 1 month. So in 3 Sundays you can cover any magazine, which is around 100 pages, and in the last week you revise it again.
Okay.
Not making notes. This is the thing that I used to do. In the afternoons, I used to solve a paper on Sundays, either mains or prelims. So these are how I covered current affairs.
So daily current affairs you are covering like while watching DNS. You used to take notes out of it, or you used to take slides? How you compile DNS, or you used to watch?
No, I used to just watch and I used to remember that, sir. No, I did not download anything or did not write also.
Okay. And then you used to go like you used to cover it compilation, entire month current affair or entire year current affair. Okay. So for mains, I want to ask like how important for an aspirant to attempt mock, and when one should start practice answer writing. What is that ideal time for an aspirant to start practice answer writing for the mains preparation?
In my opinion, I think mocks will provide you in the first stage with some content, because we'll be having some content gaps. And we cannot write the entire good structure of the answer, but by looking at the answer sheet that is provided, you can fill your content gaps when you're writing for the first time, any mock test. Then the second thing that mock will provide is to time management, because you have to write it in 3 hours and you have to write a lot. So to get that speed, you have to write some mock tests. Third is the structuring of answers. I used to follow this IBC structure: introduction, body, and conclusion. In body, I used to have some positives and some negatives based on the keyword. Even if they ask about explain, I used to write some negative aspects of it and I used to conclude it. So this is the structure that I used to follow. But coming to this structure, it is not very easily, like you cannot write it in the first go with a good structure. So in this also mock will help you. You'll write some random things everywhere. But by writing multiple times, you'll get into the structure once. Once you get into the structure and with good content, then comes your value addition part that we'll discuss later. That helped me in improving marks. But with the help of mocks, these are the 3 things. One is time management to fill your content gaps, and third is to get your structure of the answers. So that's for mains and mocks. What is the other question that you asked now?
I asked like, what is the right time or ideal time for an aspirant to start practice answer writing in this journey?
So mostly I started after my first prelims failure. But before that 2019 attempt, I did not write. But ideally, one should at least start writing current affairs answers. Like in DNS, earlier they used to give this mains question at the end of the video. That I used to write. It is not in a good structure or not good content.
But you used to.
Yeah, but whatever they have said in the video, I just used to remember that and used to write it the next day. Before the DNS starts the next day, I used to write that answer and post it in the group. So that it is like a revision for me, and also I'm writing some random things only. It is not like I have a good structure or I have a good content. But whatever I remember and whatever I understood, I used to write down. But I used to write. But ideally, don't take a lot of stress of writing mains from the day zero itself, because most of the time you'll not have content to write and you'll be feeling so lost in between. So at least once you're done with your basic foundation or basic GS subjects, then you'll get some good content. Then you can start writing and improving upon it.
Yeah, that's very well said. Because first, if you're not having content, then you will be struggling in writing good answer. You will be like under a
True.
lot of pressure. So first, there's need to acquire good content. For that, focus on the foundation. Because these days students will come up and they directly jump to like how to improve or how to do value addition in their answer. They will not go with the basics, but they will directly jump to like how to infuse current affairs with our answers.
Yes.
So they should understand this, that first they need to focus on the foundation and then they should revise that content well. Then they should come to the answer writing part.
Exactly.
So Ashwin, I want to ask, like in this your journey, UPSC journey, how QIP helped you? If you can share your insight on that.
So the first QIP that I attended was in 2020. As I said, there are some lacunas in my mains preparation. There are some gaps. One huge gap was in GS2, social justice part.
Okay.
And in GS3, there are some parts I did not cover. And GS4, there is a huge chunk that I have to cover. And there is this faculty called Faizan, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
Faizan, sir. He used to take GS4 ethics. He used to sort of the examples. And I used to make some notes out of it. Similarly, there is this one more faculty called as Vaibhav, sir.
Yes.
So he used to give some value additions, like he used to draw some diagrams in geography part, and also I used to take science and technology, biotechnology, all these parts also.
Okay.
So that these value additions I took up from QIP, and I said Baswa sir helped me in economics wala, that cyclic diagrams. And there is also, if I'm not wrong, in GS1, Mangal sir. Mangal sir, he used IR. Yeah. And he used to also take some part in GS1. So these, I used to listen to some of their lectures and pick up some good points that I used to take. But for GS4, I used to follow whatever Faizan sir I told. And I made some notes out of it. And I practiced it. And remaining part in QIP, I used to do it for value additions. And in the end, I used to write the test series. And one good thing in RAU'S that I found is you'll get your test series evaluated very quickly in 15 days or at least in 20. Sometimes it is less also. I got it in one day also, one test series. So that will help you to, you'll remember your answers if you get the answer copy very quickly. And you can think what I did wrong, and that helps you in improvement. And the other thing is there is this comparison also. There will be multiple people. They'll be showing in your graph that you are here in this bell curve. So that will also give you some push to improve your answers. So these way QIP helped in getting some I used to study in home, so I did not know what the competition is or how it used to be in other places. So with the help of QIP, I know, okay, I stand here. If I do some more improvements, whatever is discussed in the answer copy evaluation, I can push this to right towards side. So that used to be my QIP journey.
Nice. Thank you for that appreciation. And I would like to know, like many students, they face difficulty in deciding about the preferences to different services. And now you are already an IRS officer. So what's your experience regarding this service?
Our service training has started in November. IRS, as you know, is a very technical subject. It is all about knowledge-driven subject. You will have to know so many legal provisions, subsections, judgments, and everything. And it is a very evolving subject also. So we are taught all these new subjects. We are introduced to accounts. We don't even know what is debit and credit until now, but we learn now. And we started learning about Income Tax Act thoroughly. But after faceless, there is a huge uproar in the UPSC community that IRS IT has been in the downfall, and most of the people are not keeping because there is no future for the service. But if you see really any service, when the first 3 years will be like this only. Even faceless ends in the first 3 years, and you'll be 2 years in training only. So most of the time you will be only 1 year in faceless unit. After that, you'll have other attachments or other important things that are there for IRS. You'll go into investigation,
Yes.
Which is very popular, and you'll get into search and seizure. And then there is this growing trend of international taxation, where whole globe is also focusing upon this global minimum taxation. So all these things IRS provides a very huge opportunity. And as I said, that this is a knowledge-driven thing, and you'll also find some good purpose after your training. You learn something new, learn something very interesting. So IRS, it's a good training, and it's a good service also.
Nice. Anyway, now IPS training is waiting for you, and hope it goes well too.
Thank you, ma'am.
So that's all. Any kind of advice you want to give us as well as to future aspirants?
Aspirants, nothing, ma'am. Just prepare. You'll get failures. Face it. Have some good company. It can be your friends or it can be your family, where they should be there when you're at your lowest, and they should push you when you're at your lowest. And the mentor should also do the same thing. And I have seen you pushed me during some parts where I used to fail. So that is very good thing from RAU'S. And this is the cycle for aspirants. Don't feel uh, dejected when you fail, but there is something big that is awaiting. Coming to RAU'S is doing very well, ma'am. Please continue doing it. Nothing
Thank
more.
you so much. And here it's end of our podcast. And I would like to congratulate you once again and wish you a successful and wonderful career ahead. Nice having it was a wonderful experience with you. You are a very consistent and promising student. I wish everyone should follow the same lead. Thank you, Ashwin.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.